worked so hard for this state. I worked so hard. You just got two of the greatest trade deals, and add Japan to it, by the way. Let's make it three. $40 billion from Japan. YMCA all done. China all done. For the farmers, it's done. That I can tell you. You're going to have to get bigger tractors and a hell of a lot more land because you've got to produce a lot of product. I don't know if you can, but hello, Des Moines. It's great to be with you. I'm thrilled to be back in American heartland with thousands of loyal, hardworking American patriots. Great people. This November, we're going to defeat the radical socialist Democrats that are right down the street. I mean, I don't even know. I just saw a poll. New York Times, can you believe? Failing New York Times. When we leave in 10, 14, 18, 22 years from now, the New York Times will be out of business, and so will a lot of others. But did you see they did a New York Times poll, I think, in Siena, New York Times, of Iowa. And they have me pitted against every one of the socialists. And we're winning by a lot, everyone. We're beating them all. We're beating them all. We're beating them all. We're beating them like they haven't been beaten before. You know, all the noises about their crazy debates, nobody's watching their debates. But it's all about their debates. They don't care about the farmer. Everything out here, they love Trump, and you should love Trump with what I've done. So we're going to win the great state of Iowa, and it's going to be a historic landslide. And if we don't win, your farms are going to hell, I can tell you right now. Sell. They'll be saying, sell. No, we love the farmers, and we love the ranchers, and we love the manufacturers, frankly. You got plenty of that, too, in this state. It's a great state. And you have a great governor, by the way. A great governor. But every day we're achieving extraordinary victories for the citizens of the Hawkeye State. The Iowa unemployment rate has reached an all-time low in history. That's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, let's vote for Pocahontas. Let's vote for Bernie. Let's vote for Sleepy Joe. He's fallen asleep. Joe. He always gets the name wrong. How many times has he missed it? He's in Iowa. He says, great to be in the great state of Ohio. They say, Joe, you're in Iowa. You can't do that. No matter how great you speak, if you're Winston Churchill, if you make that mistake at the beginning of your speech, it's over. You might as well just wrap it up. There's the fake news. They would just absolutely destroy you. They would absolutely destroy you. You can't do that. You can't do that, Joe, Sleepy Joe. But you have these guys, you have these people. How about Buttigieg? Buttigieg. They call him Mayor Pete. You know why? Because nobody can pronounce his name. Nobody has any idea. Buttigieg. They say edge. And he presides over a city that's failed. It's doing so badly. In a state that's having the greatest year they've ever had. And they have a great governor also. And they had a great governor. You just heard from him, right? The great state of Indiana. So I don't see that one. Go down the line. We have some people. Let's not talk about him. What happened to Mini Mike? Where is he? He's not running. He's skipping 4 or 5 states. Mini Mike, I've had him up to here. More people are working right now in Iowa than ever before. Now think of it. Think of it. Yesterday, we replaced the NAFTA disaster with the incredible brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. And the YMCA, you know, when you have a hard time with that one, you know, memory is a great thing. I've always had a great memory for whatever reason, but memory is a great thing, having a great memory. But sometimes you take like little clues. YMCA, thank you, darling. I love you too. Where is that person? Look at that. Wow, what a good, strong voice. Thank you. But you know how you remember it? The song. I just walked in and they're playing the song, YMCA. So when you're having a hard time, gee, what's US? Just think of the song, YMCA, and you remember USMCA. It's a massive win for Iowa farmers and workers of all kinds. It's a massive win. And it creates some fairness with Canada. It creates fairness with Mexico. Probably the biggest reason that I ran was the unfair trade that I've seen. And one after one, China, Mexico, Canada, Japan, South Korea. We've made all these deals, and we have plenty left over, plenty left over. Europe is next. I wanted to finish China before we started on Europe. I like to do them one at a time, you know, one at a time. I'm a very organized person. But weeks ago, we also signed a terrific new trade agreement with China that will boost American agriculture by $50 billion every year. And many other businesses like manufacturing, banking, finance. Overall, $250 billion. And you know, with the farmers, because I have a place in my heart for the farmers, big. I went in, I saw Ambassador Lighthizer, who's in charge. He's fantastic. I said, what are you doing? We're getting ready for the final deal. What are you doing? He said, I'm putting in $20 billion, because I asked Sonny Perdue, he's great. You know who he is, right? Secretary of Agriculture. I said, Sonny, what's the biggest number that China's ever done with the farmers? He said, sir, $16 billion. Last year, $16 billion. This was 2 years ago. I said, so $16 billion's the biggest, because, you know, they targeted you. And now we're friends with China. In fact, maybe we've never had a better relationship, and we're working with them very closely on the coronavirus. We're working with them very, very closely. We only have 5 people. Hopefully everything's going to be great. They have somewhat of a problem, but hopefully it's all going to be great. But we're working with China, just so you know, and other countries very, very closely, so it doesn't get out of hand. But it's, you know, it's something that we have to be very, very careful with, right? We have to be very careful. But I said to Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture, I said, Sonny, what's the number 16 and 12 the year before? And you were targeted. I don't blame China. You know, look, they're smart. They're negotiators. They targeted Trump states. Where do they love Trump? They love him in Iowa. They love him in Nebraska. They love him in all these states. They love him in Wisconsin. They love him. We won Wisconsin. They like him in Wisconsin and a lot of the farm states. And they targeted. And the farmers came to see me and they said, sir, you have to do what's right. And when the fake news would interview farmers, the farmers would say, no, no, President Trump is doing the right thing. It should have been done years ago. It should have been done years and years ago. But you couldn't have made it because there was too much money, $16 billion. So what I did is I put a 25% tariff on everything coming in from China, $250 billion. And then more tariffs on things beyond the $250 billion market. We took in billions and billions and billions of dollars. We still are. And then what happened, when I heard about the farmers, and I saw the farmers, they were in the White House. They came to see me. I had 36 farmers. And I said, I'm going to give you. They said, sir, we don't want anything. I said, what do you mean you don't want anything? I've never heard that before. Everybody wants money. They want everything. They said, we just want a level playing field. I never forgot it. They said, we don't want anything. We just want a level playing field. And we've been treated badly for years. For years. And And I said, well, you haven't been given a level playing field for many, many years. For decades, you haven't been given a level playing field. We're going to give you the levelest field that you ever had. But, in the meantime, I'm going to give you $12 billion out of these tens of billions that we're collecting. Don't worry, we had plenty left over. Because we never got 10 cents from China. China took from us. We didn't take from China, right? I said, I'm going to give you $12 billion for the year before, and I'm going to give you $16 billion for this year. That was last year, for this year. So they got, meaning a lot of you in this audience got $12 billion, and you got 16. So you got $28 billion over that short period of time. And you were able to actually, in some cases, I guess, thrive. And I told Sonny, I want to take care of the small farmer, too, not just the big monsters. I want to take care of everyone. Everyone. Right? But I never forgot when CNN, fake news, and all these people, they go around interviewing the farmers. They could never find anyone saying bad about Trump. They go into diners. What do you think about Trump? Isn't it terrible what he's doing with the trade? And the farmer would say, no, he's doing what should have been done 20 years ago. Right? And now you people are going to make so much money, you're not going to do. Just, you know what? Just relax, take it easy, put it away, enjoy your life. But you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money. And again, we have never had, because they respect us now. They didn't respect us. We have never had a better relationship with China than we do right now. It's a beautiful story. They respect us. The whole world respects us now. We're respected again. America is respected again. Okay? And we're fighting for products made in America and grown right here in this great, great state of Iowa. To keep America safe, we have fully rebuilt the United States military. It's now stronger, more powerful, more lethal than ever before. We have all brand new equipment, and it was all built in the USA. And thanks to the courage of American heroes, the ISIS caliphate has been totally destroyed, and its founder and leader, the animal known as al-Baghdadi, is dead. And crazy Nancy Pelosi said, don't call him an animal. He's a human being. No, he's an animal. He's an animal. And 2 weeks ago, at my direction, the United States military delivered another historic win for American justice. Our brave warriors launched a flawless precision strike that killed the world's #1 terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. Qasem Soleimani. He was the mastermind of the roadside bomb. He loved roadside bombs. When you see your friends and great soldiers of our country and other countries, frankly, walking around, they don't have legs, they don't have arms in some cases. Some cases, they don't have both. You see them walking around or riding around, or the most brave people. These people have the greatest attitude. I go to Walter Reed and I see him. And a young man, his legs were blown off. And, how you doing, sir? I want to get back. I want to get back, sir. I'll tell you, the spirit of these people, it may even top the farmers. May even top the farmers, which is pretty awesome. But he was responsible more than anybody else. 90%, they say, of these roadside bombs sent to fight us, he was responsible, and he took a hard hit. He took a very hard hit. He was responsible for murdering and maiming thousands and thousands of Americans and hundreds of thousands of other people. Not acceptable. Soleimani was actively planning new attacks, but we ended his bloody rampage forever. Yet Washington Democrats, true, like Crazy Bernie and Nancy Pelosi, opposed our decision to eliminate Soleimani. and to save American lives. That had a tremendous impact. While we're proudly creating jobs and killing terrorists, congressional Democrats are consumed with partisan rage and obsessed with a deranged witch hunt hoax. You know, we're having probably the best years that we've ever had in the history of our country. And I just got impeached. Can you believe these people? I got impeached. They impeached Trump. The best trade deals, the strongest military. I took care of the vets. We got choice. We got accountability for the vets. Accountability. We got all these things. And they impeach you, President. No, that's not going to work. Watch. Just watch. They want to nullify your ballots, poison our democracy, and overthrow the entire system of government. That's not happening, I can tell you that. Washington Democrats have spent the last 3 years trying to overturn the last election. Why am I not worried? I should be worried. You know, remember Nixon? It was like a dark period, right? It was a very dark period. It was like, oh, you think about it, right? And with Clinton, it was not good. They say that with Johnson, that was a long time ago. None of us remember, but they say it was a very dark period. This is a happy period for us. It's a happy period. It's a happy period because we call this impeachment light. This is light. Crazy Schiff, Shifty Schiff. He's a sick puppy. He's a sick puppy. But you know what? Today, you saw it, I hit my highest poll numbers since I got elected. Because the American people, and frankly, people all over the world, know it's a hoax. They understand it. They know it's a hoax. And we have a great party, the Republican Party. They know what's going on. They know what's going on, and they're going to treat us very fairly. But the Democrats are trying to overturn the last election. We will make sure that they face another crushing defeat, right, in 2020. November 3rd. November 3rd. Mark it off. November 3rd. Mark it off. Was that a great day? 2016, November. Oh. Remember? He's not going to do well with this group. I did well. He's not going to do well with that group. I won that group. He's not going to do well here or there. Even the exit polls, they took it right up. You know what they didn't know about the exit polls? When people are leaving, they're always very accurate, you know? People leave. Who are you voting for? I'm voting for Trump. Who are you voting for? I'm voting for crooked Hillary. I don't care that she's a stone-cold crook. I'm voting for her. So, who are you voting for? I'm voting for Trump or Clinton or Trump. And they're always very accurate. But this time something happened. Many people, many, I like that idea. I like it. I like it. Wouldn't we like to run against her? Why don't get her? No. Who's tougher? Her, Crazy Bernie, Biden, Boot Edge? Who would be the closest? Boot Edge? I don't know. Maybe we take another crack at Crazy Hillary. Would that be okay? She was so easy. Remember that speech so innocently given talking about deplorables, remember? Remember deplorables. But you know, the only thing I didn't understand, I said, that's terrible, but she said another word that was worse. Irredeemables. And I said, boy, shows you how good I am at politics. I said, she's in trouble. She said, our people are irredeemable. To me, that was worse. Well, it wasn't that word that caught on. It was deplorable. The next day, I'm speaking, and women are walking around. I'm deplorable. Everyone's got deplorable. I say, I think she made a bad speech last night. But irredeemable, remember? She called them deplorable and irredeemable. And me being so brilliant, I said, I think that irredeemable is going to get her. No, deplorable got her. A lot of things got her, like lack of ability. Together, we are going to win back the House. We are going to hold the Senate. And we are going to keep that beautiful, gorgeous, incredible White House. People don't realize this is a lot of work, you know? I just left Michigan, and Michigan is booming now because of me, meaning my people. I say to Prime Minister Abe, he's a friend of mine, Shinzo, Japan, you got to do something. You got these massive deficits for our country. You got to open up plants in Michigan fast, Shinzo, fast. You got to do it. Oh, yes, I will do it. He'll do it, and he's doing it. Countries are coming in from all over the world. They're going to Michigan. They're coming to Iowa. They're buying your stuff again like crazy, like crazy. They're going to Ohio. They're going to Pennsylvania. They're going to South Carolina. They're going to North Carolina. They're going to Florida. They're coming in like never before. They're all coming back. I ran on the issue, trade. I ran on a lot of different issues, but trade was one of them that was so big. To me, it was so big. I used to say, how do we allow these companies to close, fire everybody, go to another country, Mexico, wherever it may be, make product, sell the product into our country, pay no tax? Who the hell would allow this to happen? Who would allow it to happen? It's like in South Korea. I went to them, I said, listen, your deal is no good. We have to make a new deal. South Korea, we're protecting them, all these different things. I said, number one, you got to pay us more. They agreed to. They gave us $500 million a year more. They said, but nobody has ever asked. They gave us $500. That's nothing compared to what they have to do. That's okay. That's okay. They'll pay more. But you know, they made a trade deal with the United States. Hillary Clinton was in charge of the deal, right? And she said, it's going to produce 250,000 jobs. And she was right. 250,000. You know who it was for? For South Korea. Not for us. It was for South Korea. So we renegotiated the deal, if I have your permission. We renegotiated the deal, and now we have a good deal with South Korea, okay? This deal is going to produce remember? This deal is going to produce 250,000 jobs for South Korea. She didn't lie. Can't say she lied. She lies about a lot of other things, but she didn't lie. How is she taking her defeat, okay? Remember the debate? Do you promise, if you lose, that you will support the winner? And I didn't exactly say yes. I didn't say yes, in all fairness. But I got, sort of like 68% there. But she said, see, he won't do it. She's the one that doesn't do it. No. I feel badly because it's too late for her to get in. I kept hoping, but honestly, I think that Sleepy Joe, Crazy Bernie, I don't even want to put Buttigieg in, but I think they'd actually be tougher than her. During this campaign season, the good people of Iowa have had a front row seat to the lunacy and the madness of the totally sick left. This is a radical left people that we're dealing with. Today's Democrat Party, I don't say Democratic Party, it sounds so much better in a speech, right? Democratic Party, the Democrat, but that's not their name. It's called the Democrat Party. Some people aren't allowed to say the Democrat Party because it doesn't sound good. I don't even like it. I don't like the way it sounds in a speech, but I'm going to say it because I'm not looking to have them look good. Today's Democrat Party is run by left-wing extremists who want to massively raise your taxes, increase regulations, cancel your health plans, raid Medicare, shut down American energy, destroy your Social Security. They will destroy your Social Security. Eliminate religious liberty, punish free speech, confiscate your guns, abolish your borders, and indoctrinate America's children with hateful left-wing ideology. Other than that, they're okay. Other than that, they're fine people. In short, this election is a choice between American freedom and democratic socialism. And in some cases, in my opinion, it's worse than socialism. Socialism's a kind word by comparison. The Democrats will lose because America will never be a socialist country. We can't. They're all watching tonight. They're sitting in their hotel room, little hotels right down the street. And they're looking at this crowd. The press never talks about my crowds. Did you see in New Jersey a couple of nights ago? We had sign-ups for 175,000 people. We had an arena that held about 9,000 people. We could have sold it out like 15 times, okay? They don't talk about that. You know what they talk about? They say Donald Trump, who spoke before a nice crowd. If Bernie or Sleepy Joe has, Joe had a crowd that was so small the other day that they set up a round table. Right? That's true. No, they were in a gymnasium. They were in a gymnasium. And they set up a round table. And people that went there to hear his speech are now being asked, what do you think of socialism? They just said, I just want to be here to watch a speech. They set up a round table because the crowd was so small. And then they'll say, it was a brilliant round table. It was wonderful. They never mentioned crowds, you know? They never mentioned crowds. They never mentioned anything. I'll tell you, USMCA, the biggest trade deal ever signed in the history of the world, okay? It is, wait. It barely got any mention. We signed it. It barely got any mention. They talk about the impeachment hoax. They talk about all the other stuff. But the trade deal that's going to change our country, it's going to bring growth. Wait till you see toward the end of next year, the growth will be astronomical because of the China trade deal, the USMCA, Japan, South Korea, Europe. When that happens, it will happen because they have no choice. They have no choice. But in the papers and on the fake news cable shows and the regular. Look, NBC is horrible. The NBC nightly news, it's terrible. The good news is people don't watch it like they used to because they don't believe in it. They don't believe in it. And as Sean Hannity would say, MSDNC, you know what MSDNC is, right? So bad. CNN, total fake stuff. Oops, the camera just went off. Look, the camera, it just went off. CNN. Their camera just went off. That always happens. Whenever I say CNN, their camera goes off. But Americans across the political spectrum were disgusted by the Washington Democrats, the partisan hoaxes, the witch hunts, the con jobs. It's all a con job. They don't love our country. I swear they don't. You look at Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco. It was so beautiful. And now it's a disgrace being watched all over the world. Needles all over the place, everything else all over the place. I'm not going to get into it. Washing down into the ocean, washing down onto their beaches. People living in tents if they're lucky. I mean, you never saw anything. Living on their most important entryways into what was a great city, San Francisco. What's happened? And all she does is work on the hoax and work on all of the stuff. Really, these people are very, very bad for our country. We have to take back the House of Representatives. We have to. Registered Democrats and independents are leaving the Democrat Party in droves, and we are welcoming these people and these great voters to the Republican Party with wide open arms. And we are thrilled to be joined tonight by a lot of your great leaders, a lot of your really Wonderful people. I'm not going to mention all the names because, you know, all those cameras that are rolling, they don't like it when I do it. But one they don't mind is Governor Kim Reynolds. Come up, Kim. Come up here. Also, First Gentleman Kevin Reynolds. Kevin. Kim.
Do we love him? Are we going to win Iowa for President Trump? Yes! 4 more years! You're doing great. On February 3rd, we're going to caucus. On November 3rd, we're going to vote. And on November 4th, we're going to celebrate 4 more years of President Trump.
Great job. Thank you. Oh, she was driving me a little bit batty. She'd call me up. Kim, you'd call. What about ethanol? I said, Kim, I'm doing a lot for that place. No, we want ethanol. Then we want biofuel. Then she's asking for things I never even heard of, but we got them all. Whatever the hell she wanted, we got. And by the way, Joni Ernst and the great Chuck Grassley are right now in Washington fighting for fairness, fighting the hoax, fighting for all of us. So they called, they said, do you mind if we don't go tonight? We have to stay. I said, I don't want you to be there. I want you to be where you are. Because they're fighting for us. They're great people. They're great people. And they would call to Chuck Grassley, Joni Ernst, they'd call, we got to help our farmers, sir. Yes, okay, we're going to help the farmer. They were great. Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg. Thank you, Adam. Great job, Adam. Speaker of the Iowa House of Representatives, a man with really fantastic genes. Got to have like the best genes in the world. Although you had an ex-governor here that had very good genes too. We have his son in the audience too. But this is Representatives Pat Grassley. Those genes. Those two young men have the greatest genes anyone's ever had for politics. Thank you, fellas. Thanks. I sent one of them, the father, to China, and he's now ambassador to China. Do you think he's happy? Is he happy? I think so. I think he's happy. Great governor, longest serving governor in history, actually, 24 years. We have the chairman of the Republican Party of Iowa, Jeff Kaufman. Great job. And just quickly, we have the world's tallest campaign manager, Brad Parscale. And Republican National Committee co-chair who's done an incredible job, Tommy Hicks. And we have the great negotiator, the great man, Bob Lighthizer, with us here someplace. Where's Bob? What a job he did negotiating for you. And we have somebody that you never heard of, somebody that's a fantastic person, but you never heard of, somebody named Sarah Sanders. Have you ever heard of her? Yes? Come here, Sarah. Come on. That's pretty good. And we have a great football player from Iowa. Matt Whitaker is here. Matt. Say something.
Thank you.
How much do we love this president? And Mr. President, how much do we love the state of Iowa? So much. This is an incredibly special place. I actually met my husband here in Des Moines, so I love being back in Iowa. It's an amazing place. We're sorry you've had so many crazy liberal Democrats running around here the last year, but the good news is it's not going to matter, because at the end of the day, this guy will still be our president. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Sarah. Very popular. She was a terrific person, great person. So thanks to Republican leadership, America now has the hottest economy anywhere on the planet Earth, not even close. Every prime minister, president, king, queen, dictator, whatever you want to call them, they all say, how did you do it? And you know, the truth is we have certain advantages, but we also have a people advantage. We have the greatest people in the world. I really mean that. Since the election, we have created 7 million new jobs. The average unemployment rate under my administration, listen to this, is lower than any previous administration in the history of our country. Can you believe that? The lowest unemployment. African American, Hispanic American, and Asian American unemployment rates have reached the lowest levels ever recorded. Think of that. More than 2 million millennials. You know what millennials are? Young, great people with a lot of future. They've gotten jobs and their wages have grown by nearly 5% annually. That's a record. Another record is that between the ages of 25 and 34, people are now working, and that's a record. The number of people, 25 to 34. And under the so-called Trump economy, the lowest paid earners are reaping the fastest gains of any group. And that's a great thing. This is a blue-collar boom, and that's a good thing, too. That's a good thing. Earnings for the bottom 10% are rising faster than earnings for the top 10% for the first time ever. For the first time ever. And median household income is at an all-time high. Just for 1 second, President Bush, 8 years, $450. President Barack Hussein Obama, 8 years, $975. President Donald John Trump, 2.5 years, not 3, because the numbers were taken at 2.5. Now it's actually higher. 2.5 years, including the tax cuts, which are massive, and including all of the regulatory cuts and the other things you've gotten, $10,000. So, well, think of it. So you have 8 years, $450, 8 years, $975, 2.5 years, think of it, $10,000. It's one of the reasons the economy is doing so well. And let the people down the road tell you about that, okay? Let them tell you about that. And those tractors that I told you to buy, your tractors will be 60 years old if they have anything to do with it. They'll be 60 years old, they'll be old, tired, exhausted. Your land will be exhausted, you'll be exhausted. We've ended the war on American energy. The United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere on Earth, by far. We're also proudly promoting American ethanol, and I recently approved E15 to be used all year round. Biofuel also. But the Socialist Democrats want to shut down American energy. They support Representative Ocasio-Cortez. It's a real beauty. That's a real beauty. That's a beauty. I can't even believe it, but I don't want to knock it, because the Green New Deal, which would crush our farms, destroy our wonderful cows. I love cows. They want to kill our cows. You know why, right? You know why? Don't say. They want to kill our cows. That means you're next. And they want to wipe out totally Iowa ethanol. They want to wipe it out. But we will never let that side get in. And by the way, that's the least of it. But I don't want to attack the Green New Deal because they might change it. I said to the other day, they said, what do you think of the Green New Deal? I said, well, it should be studied carefully. We should look at it. Look at it closely. I don't want to talk about it till about 2 months before the election. And then I'll tell you how totally insane it is. How about this crazy senator? How about this crazy, crazy senator from Hawaii? They said, I'm totally in favor. Not the smartest. She said, I'm totally in favor of the Green New Deal. Well, you know, that would mean there's no more airplanes. Oh. So they started screaming at her in Hawaii. They said, how the hell are we going to get to Hawaii? They said, we're going to build a railroad. She said, oh, that'll be good. The world's longest track. It's the world's longest. She doesn't know that they don't want airplanes anymore. And yet they fly around in brand new Gulfstreams, in brand new planes all over the place. They're flying from place to place. They're talking about the carbon footprint. We're going to destroy the carbon footprint. What time is my plane taking off, please? To lift up forgotten communities, the Republican tax cut launched opportunity zones. Jobs and investment are now rushing into over 60 newly, and this is incredible, brand newly designated opportunity zones right here in Iowa alone. Rich people are investing vast amounts of money. Tim Scott, Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina, came into my office. He said, I have an idea that I've wanted to do for years, but we've never had a president that could pull it off. I said, what is it, Tim? And he talked about opportunity zones. First time I heard it. And we did it, and there is nothing, nobody's ever seen anything like it. Money is being poured into these communities that would have never been there. What's happening is incredible. Opportunity zones, remember it. For decades, politicians ran for office promising to protect American farmers and workers. You've heard it all your lives, right? But then they went to Washington. They looked at those beautiful marble columns and that gorgeous ceiling painted in all that gold, you know, the way they used to build buildings. They don't build them that way anymore. We could, but they just don't know how. By the way, we're building the wall. You know, the wall's over 100 miles long. It's over 100 miles long already and moving fast. So they went to Washington, and they sold you out. That's what happened. They sold you jobs out. They sold everything out. Globalist politicians allowed other countries to raid our factories, ravage our farms, rob our workers, and ransack our communities. But the era of economic surrender is over, because now we are finally putting America first. America first. Before I took office, Washington looked the other way while China stole our secrets from American agriculture. You know, your business, what they do scientifically, nobody understands what they've done to a seed. It doesn't sound complicated. It's genius, what they've been able to do, what you've been able to do. But those secrets were being stolen, and installed massive barriers to your exports. You couldn't do anything with exports. So people, not only China, many, many other places were stealing your secrets. Our new agreement with China will protect our intellectual property and pry open vast new markets for American beef, pork, poultry, seafood, soybeans, rice, dairy, and much, much more. But you know, it is true. China's so big. 1.5 billion people. We have 350. 1.5 billion people. Think of that. And we're just touching it. This deal will be so big if it all works out. And you have the best product in the world. If it all works out, it'll just keep expanding. 250 billion will end up being much, much more than that. And you know, I've told the story before. When we were signing, we were almost finished, and I said, how much are the farmers getting? Meaning, how much are they going to purchase from the farmers? And Ambassador Lighthart said, we put 20 billion, sir. The highest ever was 16, so we made it 20. I said, make it 50. They said, what? And then people, even farm people, said, sir, we can't produce that much. I said, that's a good problem, not a bad problem. I said, make it 50. So we now have in the contract from 40 to $50 billion worth of purchase. Make it 50. Make it 50. Right, Jared? I said, Jared, you better make it 50. I want those farmers to come back and say, sir, we can't do it. We can't produce that much, sir. What are you doing to us? I don't think that would ever happen. Do you think that would ever happen? I said, they'll figure a way. He's going, absolutely not. No, I said, don't make it 20, make it 50. The YMCA is another colossal victory for American agriculture like you've never had before. It's time. You know, we suffered for a year and a half, almost 2 years, think of it, but not really, because I was able to give you those. I won't call them subsidies. I made that mistake once with the farmers. I said to this group of farmers that came in, subsidy. I used the word subsidy. That was the worst word. Sir, we don't want subsidy. Please don't ever use that word. I said, I won't, I promise. But we helped. And it will increase total agriculture exports by more than $2 billion annually. Think of that. Including the huge dairy and Iowa dairy, pork, and poultry alone. So $2 billion just in those small fields. Just in that small little grouping where you were doing nothing. It's called promises made, promises kept. Promises made. True. You know, the last time I came, I never did this before. I never ran, so they all said, you never ran before. You can't do this if you never ran. So whatever happened, it happened. One by one, they started dropping out, right? And then I was left with one, Hillary Clinton. And that worked out very nicely. He cannot get to 270, remember? 270, Electoral College. He cannot get to 270. I went to Maine. It's true. Maine 2. It's got 1 point, right? 1. I went there a lot, many times. Everyone said, well, they kept getting me, maybe, if I have a great night, 269, but 269 loses, right? But we got 306 to 223. 306 to 223. So they were right. You cannot get to 270. You can get to 306, but not to 270. In the 8 years before my election, net farm income plummeted by 20%. You know that. I got here. If you look at a chart, for 15 years, actually, not 8, for 15 years, it's like a roller coaster ride down for the farmer. Soybeans, take a look at it all. It was just a one-way street. Everybody was ripping off the American farmer. Now you're going to see numbers that are going to be great. Look at even what's happened recently. It's incredible what's going on, and I love it because you deserve it. You suffered a lot with people that were stupid. They were stupid. Under 3 years of my administration, net farm income has already gone up nearly 50% and will now be rising even faster. What are you going to do? You're going to vote for Bernie? You're going to vote for Bernie? Here I am on the debate stage. Well, net income's gone up for the farmers 50%. Tell me, how the hell do I lose this debate? How do I lose? And based on the polls, I guess I'm not going to lose in this state. I don't think I'm going to lose in any other state either. Because this is really true all over the country. This is happening all over the country, not just Iowa. On no issue have Washington Democrats more thoroughly betrayed the American people than on immigration. Illegal immigration costs our nation hundreds of billions of dollars. drains public services, overcrowds our schools and hospitals, and threatens innocent American lives at a number that you wouldn't even believe. But we've got it closed up. But we're getting your people in. You have people that have worked for you for a long time, don't you? Huh? I know the people that you have, and they're hard workers. We have a lot of great people. You have a lot of great people out there. Right here in Des Moines, a twice-deported illegal alien was charged with shooting and killing a woman, her 11-year-old daughter, and her 5-year-old son. In this region of the county alone, last year, ICE officers arrested nearly 4,000 illegal aliens, charged or convicted of heinous crimes, including robbery, rape, and murder. Yet today's Democrat Party glorifies illegal immigration. We have no idea. Now, we do now. But people would come in by the hundreds of thousands. We have no idea who they are. Many are fine people and all of that, but some are stone-cold rapists and murderers and people that their countries don't want. Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and even Mexico. Right now we have a love affair with Mexico because the Democrats wouldn't give us what we needed. And I got Mexico, they're great. They put up 27,000 soldiers on our southern border, and the numbers are plummeting, 87% down. So the president of Mexico is doing a great job. And we ended catch and release. You think that was easy? Catch and release. You know what catch and release is? You catch a criminal. You take the number and you release them into the... They never come back. We say, come back, please, in 3 years. This is a Democrat deal. Come back if you don't mind in 3 years. We release them into our country. We totally ended it through a very, very slick group of rules. Catch and release. May we please have your address and your phone number? Here it is. What have you done? I got out of jail. Oh, well, welcome to the United States. Please, may I have a little information? Okay, now we're going to release you. And in 3.5 years, we schedule a court appearance for you. Do you believe that? This is the only country in the world. They catch somebody on the border. You're supposed to be Perry Mason. You take them to court. Other countries catch somebody on the border. They say, sorry, you got to get out. We say, oh, may we have your information? We're taking you to court. Man. Today's Democrat Party glorifies illegal immigration, vilifies the heroes of law enforcement, and pledges to dissolve immigration control entirely. They want open borders. They want hundreds of thousands of people to flow into our country. And some of those people are stone-cold killers. Some of those people in the caravans, right? I came up with that name. They won't give me credit for that. They don't give me credit for anything. They don't give me credit for fake news. Wasn't that my term? Now they say it. I see CNN. They said fake news has reported. No, you're fake news. That fake news is you're fake news. They turned the term around. They're reporting that fake news is reporting their fake news. Left-wing politicians even support deadly sanctuary cities that release criminal aliens directly onto American communities. We don't want them. In New York City, the mayor's sanctuary policy recently forced the release of a criminal illegal alien charged with assault. After being set free, the same criminal raped, brutalized, and murdered a 92-year-old woman. They wouldn't give him to the ICE warriors. They're warriors. They're tough, and they love our country. They're very tough, and they love our country. And they're taking MS-13 gang members. They're about as tough as you get. They're taking them out of our country by the thousands. By the thousands. And that's a tough job, but they love to do it. They love our country. Sanctuary city policies aren't just wrong. They're immoral, and they're lethal, and they really are something that has to be stopped. They have to be stopped now. What's happening is a disgrace. Thankfully, here in Iowa, your great Republican governor, sometimes referred to as Governor Reynolds, signed a statewide ban on sanctuary cities. Thank you, Kim. And that is why we need to elect more Republicans nationwide to end sanctuary cities in all 50 states. Thank you, Kim Reynolds. You know, I endorsed her. So I want to take full credit for the job she has done. I endorsed her very early, right? Very early I endorsed her. I know talent. She's done a great job. Democrats stand for crime, corruption, and chaos. Republicans stand for law, order, and justice. It's true. We are finding the illegal gang members, drug dealers, predators, and we are throwing them the hell out of our country, ideally. And we don't want to put them in prison because, you know what? We got to pay for them for the next 50 years. But sometimes we have to. If they're too dangerous, we have no choice. Thanks to our tireless efforts to secure the border, we have reduced illegal border crossings 7 straight months in a row, and they're getting lower and lower. And shockingly, as that wall gets longer, the crossings get less. Remember the Democrats? You don't need a wall. You don't need a wall. You don't need it. 7 years ago, they all voted for it. They just didn't have the ability to build it. You know, it's not easy. With land and this and that and property and rights, and they couldn't figure it out, but I can figure it out. The problem was we couldn't get the money, but we got all the money we need now. We have everything. We have everything. And you know, the last time, this last budget, they didn't really fight us on the wall. You know why? Because they learned it's a really bad issue for them. It's a really bad issue. But I made one mistake with the wall. I should have said, we will never, ever build a wall. They would have given me so much money to build a wall. That was my only, because I used to go, we will build the wall, right? And that was a mistake. I should have said, we will never, ever build it, under no circumstances, and they would have forced its building, and I would have said, okay. And by the way, in all due respect, you know who's going to pay for the wall, right? Oh, no, they play, the fake news plays. No, through remittance, illegal aliens from Mexico are going to pay for the wall. That's what it is. Remittance. 100%. Because when I say something, I mean it. I said I was going to build a wall, and you think it's easy. When you have a party that controls the House, you got to end that. You got to end that. You know, they said they picked up the House in 18, but I didn't run in 18. You know, big difference when you run. 16 I ran, 18 I didn't run. And they did. They picked up some seats. I didn't run. But I'm running this time. And we've got to take back the House. And Kevin McCarthy will be a great Speaker of the House. Kevin McCarthy will be a great Speaker. Watch. But getting something built when you have a party that controls one of the three, getting it built is, honestly, I don't want to brag, nobody else could have done it. Nobody else could have done it. And it's the real deal wall. It's the wall that border security wanted. Remember, I thought I could just build concrete slabs. They didn't want that because you have to be able to see through. I said, oh, come on. This is the expensive version. This is the best version. This is steel and concrete and rebar in between. It's really something. Did you see the other day where drug dealers got caught at the top? They couldn't get over. We had to get the fire department to get them down. They couldn't get over, and they're like mountain climbers. They got used to climbing. They got caught. Because you know that panel? That's an anti-climb panel. It's very hot and very tough. It's a very hard panel to climb, the panel on top. Sometimes they say, you know, I'd rather do without that panel because I'm a very visual person. They said, sir, that's anti-climb panel. I said, oh, it is? Okay, let's put it on. Sure. Anti-climb panel. And the wall is the top of the line. That's what they wanted. Mostly 30 feet tall. That's very tall. That's maximum. And it's really doing a big trick. A lot, wherever we have it. You know, 100 miles is all of a sudden a lot. But where you have that, it's incredible. 99.9%, especially when we're watching it. We're watching the sections. Illegal crossings now are down 75% since last spring. And the powerful border wall we're starting to set. I mean, pretty soon we'll be setting records in speed. It's going up very rapidly, and you're seeing it all over, and it's going to be really something look, it would be nice if we didn't have to have it. It would be great, but we have to have it. You know, they said, oh, we can have drones. Oh, what are you going to do? Drones flying around. When people are going through your border with nowhere, they're going to have drones flying around. And they know, because they were all for it. They were all for it. Now all of a sudden they're against. But they want drones. Well, we're going to have drones too. But the drones are policing the wall. And people, in terms of human trafficking, people don't even talk about it. The worst, because of the internet, sadly, the worst in the history of our world, all over the world. Trafficking in women and children, all over the world. All over the world. The worst it's ever been. But when we have this border, it makes it very, very tough for them to come into the United States with women and with children stuffed in trunks in the back of a car. And the Washington Democrats have never been more extreme. 132 congressional Democrats have signed up for Bernie Sanders' government health care takeover bill. It's a takeover of your health care that would strip all of those 180 million great Americans of your private coverage. You want that. You got great deals. You're able to negotiate. You're able to keep your doctor, keep your area, keep your hospitals, keep everything that you wanted. Now they want to take it away. Report to an operating room when you have a cold, okay? In your local hospital. I don't think so. 180 million people. But I'm not going to knock it because I want Bernie to bring it right up to the end and we'll debate it the day before the election, okay? We are saving your health care while socialist Democrats are trying to take away your health care. And Sleepy Joe has no idea what he's even talking. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's so lost. Honestly, that poor guy is so lost. They talk health care. She said it's over for him. It was over for him, actually, if you knew him a long time ago. Now it's really over. We are making health care better and cheaper. We got rid of the individual mandate, the most unpopular thing, which essentially killed Obamacare. And we are protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and we always will, the Republican Party. We're stopping surprise medical billing and making everything totally transparent. And I signed it already. Everything now is going to transparencies where hospitals, doctors, everybody has to tell you how much things are costing. Watch those prices come down. Right? I have an expert on healthcare. He said transparency, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Nobody else would have gotten it done, that I can tell you. Transparency is bigger than healthcare because you will see prices tumbling like you wouldn't believe. People go in for a blood test. They get charged $2,700. Down the road, they get the same test for $57. The same exact test. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's better. It's crazy. When you have transparency, it's all going to come. You watch. You watch. But this person, a real expert, said, this is bigger than healthcare, and I got it done. Unfortunately, it won't really start kicking in till after the election because it takes a period of time. They have certain statutory requirements, etc. Well, you better let me win. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I did transparency. I took the guts. I did transparency. And then I'm going to watch as somebody else says, didn't he do a great job for transparency? And you better let me win because I want the credit for that one. We're buying cheaper drugs from other countries and approving more generic drugs than ever before. We are defending your right to keep the doctor. We are defending your right to keep your plan. Remember Obama 28 times, you can keep your doctor. You can keep your doctor. 28. You can also keep your plan. You can keep it. You can keep it. 28 times he lied. We should impeach him. No, he got it on a lie. He got it on a lie, but we've run it much better. But essentially, it's totally different because of individual mandate, because that really took the guts out of it. And we're running it much better. I had a choice. Do we run it well or do we run it poorly? If we run it poorly, everyone's going to blame me. if we run it well, everyone's going to give him credit, especially the fakers back there, right? But you know what? We got to run it well, but we're coming up with a health care that if we win the House, we will have the best health care of any country in the world by far. We're fighting the lobbyists and we're fighting the special interests, in case you didn't notice. And we are serving only you. And thanks to our bold reforms, we're now offering health plans that are 60% cheaper than Obamacare. We're offering a lot of different things. And we have just passed recently, 10 months ago, right to try. I love right to try. You know what that is. That's people are terminally ill and they can't use medicine because, and they've been trying to pass this almost for 50 years. You can't use the medicine. We have the greatest doctors, labs, hospitals in the world. They come up with a medicine, but it has to go through the FDA procedure, right? And you can't do anything. You can't use it. They won't let you use it. Now I have you sign an agreement. You're not going to sue the United States. You're not going to this, your family, et cetera, very simple. And they can use it. And you have no idea the results that are taking place. You have no idea. You have no idea the results. People's lives are being saved. And for me, it was simple. I said, wait a minute. You're worried about hurting somebody. These people are dying. They're terminally ill. They're admitting they're terminally ill. And you won't let them use the drug that may work. Let them use the drug. And we're letting them use the drug. And it's working in a lot of cases. We have transformed veterans' health care, including VA choice, the best. You know, I think I'm a totally brilliant human being. I think I'm the smartest person. So I came up with a plan. I'll never forget, I was in New Hampshire. I came up with this idea because everybody kept coming up to me and saying, sir, it's really terrible what's happening with health care. We're waiting in line for 2 weeks, for 4 weeks, for 7 weeks. Honestly, people were waiting in line. They weren't very sick. They were terminally ill, truthfully, before they saw a doctor, by the time they got to the doctor. So I came up with this incredible plan. Only I could think of this. I said, here's what you do. Here's what you do. If somebody can't get a doctor quickly, because we have great doctors at the VA, they don't get enough credit. If you can't get to a doctor quickly, you go outside, you go locally, you get a doctor, we pay the bill, you get yourself all better, right? So I went back. And I told my people, do you have any idea how smart I am? Listen to this plan I have. They said, actually, sir, we've known about that plan for 52 years. We just couldn't get it approved. So I said, oh, that's too bad. I thought it was brilliant. But what I am good at is getting things approved. And I got it approved, and people are using it, and it's good. And I know the people of Iowa don't care about this, but we are making substantial investments in rural health care. We are combating the opioid epidemic. Drug overdose deaths have declined for the first time in nearly 31 years. That's a great thing. And our great First Lady is helping us with that. That is such a big thing for Melania. Big, big thing. She is really involved. And we will never let the Democrats give away your health care to illegal immigrants, especially when we say, come in, we'll give you health care. You know, it's one thing, they come in, it's like a rough situation, because we all have hearts. But when people are saying, like in California, this wacky governor, he says, come in, we're going to give you health care, we're going to give you free education, we're going to give you everything. We're going to give you a beautiful Rolls Royce. See, to show you how fake they are, one of the newscasters said, Donald Trump said that the governor of California promised a Rolls Royce to illegal immigrants. He didn't promise them. This was a lie and a misrepresentation by President Trump. They can't take a little humor. They can't take it. These people are sick. They're sick. No. They're sick people. Them and Shifty Schiff is a very sick person. He lies awake at night, shifting and turning, Shifty. Shifting and turning in his bed, sweating like a dog. How am I going to get him? He didn't do anything wrong. How am I going to get him? Oh, what a sick guy he is. Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb, right up until the moment of birth. That is why I have asked Congress to prohibit extreme late-term abortion, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. Democrats are now the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, and blatant corruption. No matter how you cut it, that's what it is. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, the American dream, and the late, great Abraham Lincoln. You know that, right? Abraham Lincoln, honestly. Remember, I always said, I can be more presidential than any other past president, other than perhaps Abraham Lincoln when he's wearing the hat, right? Because it's easy to be presidential, but I only have about 3 people in front of me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Is everything okay in Iowa? Oh, I see. The world is ripping you off. Well, there's not a thing I can do about that. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good night. No, we got to do it the right way. Republicans, and by the way, can I be honest? Doing this takes far more talent than doing that. Doing that is very easy. This is not easy, especially when you just left Michigan and you just left other places. And you got maniacs doing a number on you all the time for 3 years. You got the maniacs for 3 years. I think before I came down the escalator with our future First Lady, I think really they were doing it then. They started even before I came down on the escalator. These people are maniacs, so you have all that. So you're fighting that, and you're doing farm bills. We got your farm bill approved, by the way. We got your farm bill approved. I don't even mention that because that's massive by any other standard, but it's peanuts compared to the YMCA and the China deal, right? So I don't even mention it. Anyway, Republicans are fighting for citizens from every background and from every race, religion, color, and creed. It's true. And our numbers with African-American workers, people, are through the roof. Are through the roof. Because, remember I used to say, what do you have to lose? I'd read down the worst on crime, the worst on education. They got this, they got that, they got 10 different things. All horrible. And one day I'm in front of this tremendous group of people, and I'm reading this list, African-American. They have the highest crime rate. They have the highest this. They have the worst education. They have the worst schools. They have the worst. I said, stay with me, because they were with the Democrats for 100 years, more. I said, stay with me. What the hell do you have to lose? And you know what? You know what? Remember that? And now they have the best employment and unemployment numbers. They have the best poverty numbers. They have numbers that nobody would believe. They're doing so great. It's so great to see it. It's incredible. Youth unemployment, African-American youth. It's been great. We're asking all Americans to join our incredible movement. We are a big tent and a big party with big, bold, beautiful ideas for the future. We're what the country was based on originally. It was called greatness. It was called greatness. And during National School Choice Week, school choice, everybody, we continue our fight to rescue children trapped in failing government schools. Iowa became one of the first states to pass school choice. That was over 10 years ago. Now Governor Reynolds, Senator Ernst, Senator Grassley, and more than 100 members of Congress are supporting our plan to give school choice to every child in America who needs it. It's a great plan. To give former prisoners a second chance at life, we passed criminal justice reform. Think of that. Think of that. We had a lot of great conservatives who wanted it. We had liberals who wanted it. They couldn't get it passed. President Obama couldn't even come close. He didn't try too hard. He talked like, oh, I'll try. To uphold the rule of law, we have confirmed 191 federal judges, a record, who will interpret the Constitution as written. And 2 great Supreme Court justices, by the way. And as part of, right, 2 great ones. As part of my commitment to rebuild our military, we secured an $8.5 million facility to support our Iowa Guardsmen at Camp Dodge, right here in Des Moines, Iowa, right here, Camp Dodge. Camp Dodge, everybody. We take care of Camp Dodge. I recognized Israel's true capital and opened the American Embassy in Jerusalem. We recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And yesterday, we just released a historic new plan for peace. We're going to see if we can get that done. It's one of the toughest deals of all. One of the toughest deals, but we have a shot at it. For years, you watched as your politicians apologized for our country. They apologized. They would say, I'm sorry. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for the great people of Iowa. We are standing up for Iowa. At stake in our present battle is the survival, frankly, of our nation. Look, you know, I can make this speech really short. All I have to do is say, hello, Iowa. You have no choice. You have to vote for me. Otherwise, everything that you've built in your entire life will be gone. Goodbye, Iowa. Have a good time. Instead, I work my ass off up here, okay? True. You think this is easy? It's a little hot in this room. This room wasn't designed for this many people. If you want your children to inherit the blessings that generations of Americans have fought and died for, then we must devote everything we have toward victory in November of 2020. We have to. And by the way, for those beautiful farmers that want to leave your small farms or businesses to your children, because of our great tax bill, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, the biggest that you benefit by. Because of that, there is no death tax or inheritance tax, as they call it. So I always say, if you love your children, that's a great thing. If you don't love your children, don't leave it to them. And that particular tax won't matter. But if you love, is there anybody here that does not love your children? Is there anybody here who loves your children? Well, it's Iowa. It's Iowa. You love your children. No, you have no tax to pay. You leave your, you know, in the old days, meaning before Trump, what would happen? You'd leave your farm, they'd assess your farm for a massive amount, that kids would go out to a bank, they'd borrow money up to their eyeballs, and they'd end up losing the farm. Now you can leave your farm, and they did that to pay the tax. Now you can leave your farm, you don't pay inheritance tax or estate tax. Nice, right? So when you're looking down at your children, you're saying, oh, did you get lucky? Did you get lucky? Look at them, they're enjoying life. But only this way can we save the America we love and drain the Washington swamp once and for all. That swamp is bad. That swamp is bad. I had no idea it was going to be this sick and this degenerated. It's a degenerate swamp. I had no idea when I came out, I said, we're going to drain the swamp. I had no idea the swamp was that evil. But we're winning. We're winning because we're in the White House. We're winning. And with your help, we will lift millions more of our citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and poverty to prosperity. That's what's happening all over our country. Together, we will elect a Republican Congress to create a fair, safe, sane, and lawful system of immigration. It's already happening. We will continue to enact new trade deals that result in more products made, raised, farmed, and grown right here in the USA. We will achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer, and ending the AIDS epidemic in America in less than 10 years. We've already started. Should have been started in the last administration. Incredible. Should have been started earlier, but we started. In less than 10 years, the AIDS epidemic will be eradicated, will be gone. Who would have thought, who would have thought that was possible? When they came in and told me that a couple of years ago, I said, really? Nobody knows that. Incredible, the strides that we've made. We will defend privacy, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. In the state of Virginia, they want to take your guns away. You believe in Virginia? I love Virginia. Of all states, they want to take your guns away. The Democrats, it's not going to happen. Above all, we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one America. We are one great America. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes of law enforcement. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that family and faith, not government, bureaucracy, are the true American way, not government bureaucracy. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." We live by those words. In God we trust. From Cambridge, good old Cambridge. Who's from Cambridge here, please? Cambridge. What the hell do I mention it for? There's two people here. Can I say it anyway? I'll say it anyway. Good place, Cambridge? Good. He said it's amazing. Well, from Cambridge to Council Bluffs, from Cedar Rapids, where I made my last speech prior to the election. What a place. 32,000 people. I said, I'm going to win tomorrow. To Rock Rapids, from Melbourne to Moorhead, and from Davenport to right here in Des Moines, Iowa. We stand on the shoulders of true red-blooded American heroes. This great state was founded by tough frontiermen. These are tough people. Let's see, how tough? They're tough. Anybody like to join ICE? You want to join ICE? He says, no, thank you. And strong pioneer women who defied the dangers to carve out a life and a beautiful home with great families and great neighbors. They tamed the wilderness, braved the elements, tilled the soil, planted the fields, and helped make this the greatest nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And we are making it greater and greater every single day. Proud citizens like you helped to build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people, where it has always belonged. It's coming back to you. You see that? With your help, your devotion, and your drive, We are going to keep on working, and we are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. America is thriving like never before, and ladies and gentlemen, and especially the great ladies and gentlemen of Iowa, the best is yet to come. True. Because together we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you.